Alright, how's it going, guys? This is Webster514, and this is just a quick small video for all the new sailors out there who are just starting Navy Field. They are Navy Field babies, or they just returned from a really long time ago and they forgot what this main shipyard screen is. I'll just be teaching really quick on how this screen works. To access the screen, it's right here, all the shipyards, depending on what you have. I'm gonna start in neutral since mostly everyone will begin here. Now the first things I'll talk will be on over here in this little box, which gives a lot of information. Starting with the durability points, you have 6,000 out of 6,000. If you don't repair the ship, which it will automatically do, you should always have these two numbers equal. They can't be changed unless if you remodel or buy a newer, bigger ship. The second thing is your armor. This is the defensive power of your ship and your soft defense. I won't be getting into too much detail with soft defense right now, but I will teach you about the armor. The deck armor protects you from shells hitting on top of your ship. Belt protects from the sights. Bulge protects anything that torpedoes hit. The bulkhead will maintain your ship at a higher speed, even though torpedoes have already penetrated it. Well, not torpedoes, actually. Any damage have already penetrated it. You can tell you can only have one type of armor, which is different for every nation. Adding armor will increase by a lot the weight. As you can see, adding a 5-inch armor will cost you about 180,000 credits and about 1,400 weight. Here's the weight, alright? You cannot exceed this weight. The higher your weight is, the slower your ship will go. Here's the speed of your ship, if you were wondering. But that, I just wanted to get to the armor since it's probably the heaviest thing you might equip on your ship early on and later on. And the next is the FCS. This little thing is how you will be shooting. Aiming FCS, or fire control system, aiming will have the same amount of accuracy, well, a bit more accuracy than automatic. Aiming is manual, so you will have to use the keys to judge, well, not judge, but point to how high you want your shells to go, how far you want them to go, and in which direction the turret will turn, in which it is completely manual. You will control each turret by itself. Finder gives you a much larger visibility range, but the accuracy is very low. And auto, the accuracy is standard, but your guns will only turn like in a really specific way, where it's like they're all pointing in the same direction, but they never cross each other's paths. I'll show you guys in another video what I mean. These are all the FCS. Now the search range is basically how far you can look. I'm not sure what the marking range is. I'm guessing that's how far you can shoot, unless it's the other way around. Over here is your accuracy, how accurate is each one of them. The cost, how many are left to buy, and the weight. Oh, and space, of course. I'm going to equip an auto since this is a newbie ship and I'm not very comfortable with the angles. The next will be the power plant. This will determine your speed and weight overall. Here's the cost, 1 credit. Alright. Now, the weight has to be, I want to say that it has to be proportionate to the amount of horsepower you have. If you have 6,000, well, let's say 60,000 horsepower, but 1,000 pounds, it's not a good amount of horsepower for that weight. The DD1 engine heavy will still be better than that engine if it existed. I'm not sure if it does, but you always want to keep it low weight, high horsepower. That's what you're always looking for. And all of this will be probably the main thing that takes you to placement. Mostly the engine and the FCS. Those will be the first two things you add to your ship. Armor, you shouldn't worry about armor until you have your guns ready. Now, about the guns. Guns depend on every nation. Here you can see the sailor has to be Craig's Marine Nation and level 12 to use this gun. I'm only going to focus on the neutral guns. And I'll teach you what all these numbers mean, what all this stuff is, in a minute. I'll teach you from the outside ship first. When you put your mouse over it, you can see it's space 32. That is how much space that gun port can hold. So if the gun takes 20 space, you only have 12 space left over on this gun port to add ammo and anything else. Same thing with torpedoes. 17 space for torpedoes. Usually every gun port will be the same. This little pie chart you see around the gun ports is the area in which that gun can shoot. Of course it can't shoot through its main tower right here. So that's why you see a little Pac-Man pie type circle right there. Same thing over here. It can only shoot left and right. Can't shoot forward or back. You don't want to torpedo yourself to death. Now let's get to the gun. Basically, this is how many barrels are in the gun. There's only one barrel, as you can see. If I choose something such as this dual barrel, it has 2 guns in the naval gun. And then the Warthog has 7. It shoots 7. These are for submarines. You should not be using these in Blitzkrieg. So, 1 barrel. The caliber is basically how big the shell is. Lower calibers actually shoot less farther, but are sometimes more quicker. So you have to average out. Usually I go for the highest I can get, the highest caliber. It all depends on your setup, how you want it. The caliber's right here. Higher caliber means farther you can shoot. The muzzle velocity is basically how far that caliber can shoot. So if you see over here, it's 960. This is 720. That means here I'll compare to these two. 808 and 727. This gun will not outrange this gun. So keep that in mind. If this gun was hitting you from its max range, you will not be able to hit it with this gun. So you do have to know the ranges on each gun and on each caliber. The next will be the reload speed. How long does it take to reload your gun with a standard sailor? This is just like if you grab any old sailor and put him there, that he has no good ability over here. It'll show over here. No good ability, that's how long it'll take for that sailor to shoot it. Of course, if that sailor has a higher reloading, then he might shoot, well, he will shoot faster, especially if your sailor is boosted, premium, or experted or vetted. Back to the gun. That highest angle, your gun can only shoot 40 degrees into the air, and that is the highest. Some ships can go 90 degrees. Here, let me see if I can find a 90 degree angle. Oh, I saw 95. Well, 90 degrees. This gun can shoot 90 degrees in the air. If you shoot this, your bullet will go up and hit your ship if you don't move. It won't hurt your ship, but it will make splash damage. Angle basically depends on how high your gun can shoot. If you're shooting at max range, if you're shooting, what was it, my gun? If you're shooting this gun at max range, it will only shoot 40 degrees into the air and land onto the ship or water depending on what you're aiming at. The highest degree will always be 40, but you can go from 0 to 40 and shoot from any angle. So you probably won't be hitting the deck as much with this gun, you'll be hitting more of the side, which was called, I forgot, the belt. You'll be hitting the belt. Guns like, such as the 70 degree angle, when you're shooting straight at them, using your max range, you'll be hitting most likely their deck. So that's something to keep in mind. The training speed, I'm not really sure what this training speed is. The speed factor plus 83, it changes throughout all the guns. I never actually learned what it helped for, but hopefully somebody else can comment on the video and answer that question. I'm not really sure. Max range, it doesn't show. And I also don't know what that is. Now down here, this is the name of the gun. That times 2 in front, or times 1, or times 7 shows how many barrels the gun has. The cost $1. It weighs 21.8 pounds. That only affects here. This doesn't have to do anything with the weight. I mean the space. The space over here has nothing to do with the weight, but will determine how much space it is taking. So it's taking 20 space. You have 12 space left for ammo. And this is how many guns you can purchase. You can currently purchase almost 1 million of these. So every time you buy one or sell one, I'm guessing it goes down. Let's try that out. It does. So every time you buy one or sell one, it goes down. I don't think you will be, just doing this forever until it goes to 0. And what's the point? And this is the caliber of the gun. It's a pretty quick way to see what the caliber is of the gun. Now that we're done with guns, torpedoes. Torpedoes are basically the same thing. The training speed, the angle is 2 to 5. I'm not sure what that means. It does average out on each one. I'm not sure what it is. The bind is just basically how many is it shooting at one time. Shooting 2, 2, 1. How long does it take to reload? 26 seconds. Now you might think, oh, that's too much, it's not probably worth it. You're not probably going to be using the torpedo much. You're only going to be using it to take out bigger ships that are probably just nailing you down, or right before you die. Most of the torpedoes are 21-inch in diameter. So I'm not sure if it increases with bigger torpedoes. I'll check in a minute after I'm done explaining this screen. Time for the shells. The R's are your main guns, and the T, I always use them as torpedo. I'm not sure, but you can also put flat guns. So if you want to put AA guns on your ship, you can. You just gotta make sure the gun can carry AA. Over here, the weight. How much weight is it currently using up, and how much space you have left on it. Here is the shell. Now in Blitzkrieg, you probably want to always use HE shell heavy, unless if you really want to go with light or normal. Heavy shells don't go really far, but they do cause a lot of damage in Blitzkrieg since nobody has a really high soft defense. Light shells, they travel very far, low damage. Normal shells, normal range, normal damage. Heavy shells, low range and high damage. Now I don't think it's really high damage like heavy. It's twice as powerful as light. It's not, as you can tell, the offensive power. Now the APC shell is the armor piercing shell. This shell, if you're ever shooting with any of these, and when you hit the ship, it's only hitting 5s, 0s, 10s, 20s, that ship is carrying armor. You're going to have to blow its armor off by using the APC shell. Carry a few binds with this if you think you'll need them. If not, don't. It's all in your preference. So, heavy for Blitzkrieg, light for great battles. For when you get there. Wait, did I miss something? Oh yeah, I did. 3.4 weight for each one. Every single bind carries 50. So when you buy one, it's 50. Right now I'm carrying 200 shells. 50 times 4. Infinity amount. This will never go down. And the caliber. I'm not sure if this has anything to do with it. I'm guessing it's just how strong it hits the armor. And the offensive power. So just because you're using APC shell doesn't mean you won't be doing any damage. You will do damage, but it'll be the lowest one. You're mostly blowing off the armor. Be sure you always stock up before you go. You don't want to be in the middle of a battle with no ammo. That's the worst. Now, I'm guessing that's it on this ship. Oh, the force, right. you can equip any sailors you want on a neutral ship. So you can have the operator. Well, you can't, but you can have a fighter be the operator. The fighter can be a torpedo man. In neutral ships, you can move them about. But in other ships, the nation ships, they do have a specific role. The operator can't go, of course. They can't operate a gun. They only operate the ship. And so forth and so on. Now, if you want to, switch your ships around, you can click this, and it moves the ships up or down. Or you can just move the ship, like, the whole screen up or down to see what ships you have. Now, repair. Your ship will always be repaired automatically at the end of a battle. If you, for some reason, crash at the loading screen, you might log in to see your ship with a huge, like, circle around it, which means it's not repaired. You're gonna have to repair it. Repairing costs are already included when you finish a battle, so is your ammo. Your ammo gets refilled and your ship gets repaired, which is subtracted from your total earnings. Remodeling. Only a few ships can remodel. You're gonna have to visit the ship tree to see what ships remodel into what. Renaming your ship depends on how big your ship is or what level it is. It's gonna take a certain amount of credits. And to sell your ship, I don't think I'll ever ask you how much it sells for, but it's about 50% or so. I'm not really sure. Here's all the ships you can buy. Alright, let me explain this screen. Basically, how much space a ship has in total, what type of ship it is. Usually they will always be normal ships. The durability it has, it switches between every ship. The normal displacement, this is what, with nothing, it will have. 122 tons. Yeah, I'll show you. Let me buy this ship. Oh, I can't buy any more of those ships. I think it's over here. 134. Alright, let's take this off. And you can never sell the engine. You're always going to have to buy the lowest engine. I'm just going to buy 90. We'll subtract that from there. So 90, that's be about 100 and what? 70? 1,170. So the frigate one will be 170. And then after we take off all the guns and stuff, it'll be 122. That's a ship just bought, no armor, no engine, no FCS, no guns, no nothing. That's the standard displacement. That's how much it should run after it has everything. If you have anything more than that, your guns are probably too heavy or anything. This shouldn't limit you. You can run it at 1,600. You can't pass this at all. But the closer you get to this, the slower you will go. That's how fast the ship turns. Some ships turn really fast, others very slow. The structural strength is how much your ship can sustain damage before it starts losing its max speed. The defense it has with the HE shells and the defense with AP shells, as well as the AAW defense. These are those little machine gun bullets that you see come out of your ship when an airplane flies over you. The overheat ratio, I never really learned this, but I'm guessing one of the fleet leaders or someone else can answer that for you. The main deck, those are the armors it comes with. 0 armor with everything. FCS is 18, power plant is 20. Not sure what these numbers mean, but I'm guessing it's the power of each one. Armament, I'm not sure what that means either. The aircraft loading capacity is how much aircraft your ship can carry, and the amount that it can take off at a given moment. It also gives you right here the space of your guns. So as you see right here, 26 space. When you buy the ship, it'll come with 26 space in each slot. When you look at a ship like this where it says 35, 22, 22, 35, these are the T slots. The torpedo slots or the AA slots. The others will be the main gun slots. And I'm guessing that's it. The cost, you know, how many credits will cost you, how many are left to buy, What class it is, I'm not sure on what class means. Displacement, you know, we covered that. Yeah, sailors, I covered them mostly. You're probably gonna want to roll some pretty good sailors or just buy them. That'll be another video. Alright, I'll show you something. I'll show you very quick how a pretty mid-level ship looks like. This is a pretty mid-level battleship. My displacement, as you can tell, I have no armor on. I have these huge guns, which are considered crappy by higher levels. What caliber are they? I don't even know. The info also appears over there, as you can tell. They're the 14-inch double barrels. I don't think I have them. That's weird. Yeah, I don't have them here. Oh well. I'm packing the 14-inch double barrels right here. Basically that's how it will look like. I have my AA guns. Have all my sailors off of it right now. Let's see if I can find this ship. I can't. I'll just show you with this one. I can only take off 8 aircraft, so if 8 planes are already flying, I can't launch anymore. And I can only carry 5,700 airplane weight, as you can tell over here. Right here, the weight of each airplane is 100. So that's how much space the airplane takes. And that's its actual weight, and that's the space. Now, this is basically a setup of a regular mid-level, low-level CV ship. The setup of a mid-level, low-level BB ship. This is the hybrid ship, which only Japan has at the moment. I'm not sure. I doubt they'll add it for anyone else. But hybrid ships, they have pretty good guns. They're alright. Not the best, but they're alright. And you can take off planes, such as torpedo planes, scouts, and fighters. And a low-level submarine. I'm not even sure why I have this. I'm just training my sub-crew over here right now. But low-level submarines sometimes have guns in the front and back. They always have torpedoes in the front. Never, or usually never, torpedoes in the back. Some have in the back, some don't. It all depends on your nation and submarine. So I'm guessing that's it, guys. Hope this video helped you a lot, answered a lot of questions. If you have any more questions, feel free to contact Piombo, me, or any of the other fleet leaders. Let's see, is Piombo online? No, he's not. Piombo's a fleet leader. Vienna, or his name is also Angus, is a fleet leader. I'm guessing he still is. I'm not sure who the fleet leaders are currently. I'm not even sure I'm still one. But I'm still here for help if you ever need me. So, you know, take care, guys. Peace.